to Buenos Aires, and I started meeting with activists who they very much saw themselves as part of this. Died on the streets of Buenos Aires on December 20th, and we realized as well that many of us don't know the names of the people who die on the streets of Toronto every winter. So Avi's going to tell you a little bit about this film and the name of the film in particular.
I just want to say that I think this is a beautiful and magical event, and I think it's incredible. I think that we could reinvent our identity as Torontonians if we started doing this more often. And I think it's about time we considered that. Naomi was talking about what happens when the middle class falls from grace, as it does in developing countries, and somehow the way the global economy works, it just never seems to happen in North America. But here we have tonight a snapshot which is very much like what's going on in Buenos Aires right now, which is that people are getting tired of lobbying government. There are too many people dying, and there are too many people homeless, and so they're just taking the goddamn buildings and creating a community around them. And the importance of space, and the importance of bringing a sense of celebration and of culture, and of, we have a beautiful mixed gathering of middle-class people and working-class people and people who are just gathered in this place tonight. And those divisions are precisely the ones that are usually only bridged in times of intense economic crisis. If we can capture this thing that we're doing now, where we don't need an economic crisis for everybody, to get the middle class interested in what's happening to the people who are being discarded by the system, we might actually get this magical thing of solidarity going without the entire country being decimated the way Latin American countries are being decimated right now. So I think this is really important what's happening right tonight. And I hope to God that there's this many people next week and whenever OCAP needs support here. OCAP is we're going to show you this little piece of tape because we've already exceeded the length of tape. Well, we've already doubled the length of time that you'll actually see. It's only 12 minutes. The only thing that I want to tell you about this is that it's a story of a young guy named Gustavo Benedetto. He was killed on the night of December 20th, like a lot of other people were in Buenos Aires. He was killed under extraordinary circumstances. A societal system which is brutal requires brutality to enforce it. And you see it in a more exaggerated way in Latin America, but if you live on the streets of Toronto, you see it every day. And they assassinate people regularly in Argentina, and it hasn't got to that point yet here and in Brazil and all over the world. But in a way, the reason that we're interested in Argentina is that it's a cartoonish version of precisely the same policies, precisely the same brutality, and precisely the same resistance and constructive building of alternative spaces and democratic spaces that we're starting to see here. So there's a tremendous amount in common. This kid was killed. We interviewed his family in the spot where he was murdered. It was the first time the family had spoken publicly, and we were harassed by the cops in the course of doing an interview in the middle of the day on a street corner in Buenos Aires. The connection in the film and the connection which is being made in Argentina, and you can draw your own connections for our own situation, is something that happens when they remember the 30,000 people who were killed by the military dictatorship. And they read out the names of people who were killed, and they say, presente. And they draw explicit connections between the economic policies and the ruling class, which in fact is still enforcing the same economic policies under a different name. And the connection for people in Argentina between what happened during the military dictatorship and what's happening now is a very conscious, very economic analysis, but it takes a very emotional form. So this segment is called Gustavo Benedetto Presente, and we'll just let you see it. I hope the subtitles are in focus. The bank where this happened, the Hong Kong Savings Bank, which figures largely in the story, I think is the second largest private bank in the world. I was in Vancouver for the last couple of weeks, and there are HSBCs on every corner. I don't know why there isn't the name Gustavo Benedetto spray painted on every branch of the HSBC around the world right now. But it's a magnificent opportunity for someone to start a campaign to try to make some of the links. And if you're moved by this, then I hope someone will take me up on that.
Desapareció, él aparecerá.
Check 1, 2, 1, 2.
Someone's got to start.
I think I'm going to Andrea's house. This is Andrea. I don't really know why, but maybe like
Maybe if people are just wanting to stick around, we could just kind of talk informally and get rid of the whole microphone setup because I don't think it really works for.
Describe what it's like in Argentina right now. What it's like is it's like this, only everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. You walk down the street and there are groups of people talking, discussing, showing movies, voting, voting about how they want to run the country. And it started off with just neighborhood meetings and a few squats here and there. And the machines were all there, so they started making clothes and they started baking bread, and this is what's happening. There are occupied factories all over Argentina right now. We were in Argentina during our winter. We were in Argentina during our winter, which is their summer. And the meetings would be going on the street corners because it was really, really hot like this. And also people wanted to be outside. They wanted people to see democracy happening. They would have long debates about whether to even move to the inside a park as opposed to on a street corner. And they would say, no, we want people to see what democracy actually looks like. And we don't want to hide it. We don't want to put it away in a meeting room. But then winter set in. And they started rethinking that strategy just a little bit. And so now what they've done is they've started occupying buildings to turn them into social centers for the neighborhood meetings, the neighborhood asambleas. And there are several hundred of these neighborhood asambleas all over Argentina. And they started taking over banks because they're empty too. So they have neighborhood meetings in the banks. And I just got an email from a friend of mine named John Jordan, who's been in Argentina, telling me he'd gone to a neighborhood assemblea in an abandoned supermarket. And he said that in the old produce aisles they had a big soup kitchen and everybody was making food and it was all free. And instead of music, they had rock bands. So they're kind of rebuilding the country from the ground up. Thanks a lot for coming.
Okay, this is our first neighborhood assembly place. Okay, this is a part of the evening, you knew it was coming, where we send around the bucket. We're of course trying to raise funds for this. Excuse me.